Good afternoon, my friends. Thanks for joining us again on the channel. We appreciate it. I have my coffee ready. Tell you what, go ahead, hit pause, grab yourself a cup, run right back. We'll start back up. We understand. So in the meantime, I've noticed that my glasses are probably too dark for the camera. Let's get those changed. My other pair are conveniently located off camera. What do you know? Yes, that is better. It is Good Friday in southern Michigan. Nice looking day. I'm going to take a couple hours to take advantage of the weather. Let's see here. What can we talk about today? Well, today, first of all, is going to be vine cutting day back there. We have some vines that sometimes we can't get to them. It's just too thick. Others that we miss. So we're going to take care of all that today, get them out of the way, and then we can move on to other projects. Speaking of projects, there's always the normal activities. Mowing the grass, getting wood chips for the mulch, topping off the garden with soil, but some special projects we'd like to do this year, over and above. I need to get rid of a tree that I started cutting last fall. Gotten down the important piece. Now I need to get the rest of it down before it blows down and becomes much worse. It's laying over my secondary shed. Could damage some equipment in there, besides hurting someone. Let's see, what other projects do we have? We should get a stump grinder in. None of them are particularly big, but they are a hazard. They're already cut down as far as they can without damaging the chainsaw. But, you know, that's just the way things are. I'm going to trip on in the fall. I know I am. We should get after the dead grass. It's not really thatch yet. It hasn't built up enough to become thatch, but I'd like to attack it while we can. Get it raked out, collected with the lawn tractor and the subcompact. We should bring in 10 or 20 yards of dirt, spread it out in a spot back there that is low, let's say, or uneven. And that is just about it before summer's here and there will be other things to do. So let's get on some clothes that we don't necessarily care about, get our safety gear on, and we'll regroup, come right back here. Okay, we're back. We're changed out, ready to go. We have sturdy footwear on, long pants, repellent for the ticks. We have eye protection. We have 3 kinds of gloves, a leather glove, which I prefer when I'm working in the brush. We also have a general purpose glove in case I feel like changing into those. We have nitrile gloves for when we eventually run into poison ivy. We have bypass loppers. We have pruner. That's about it. Let's see. For hazards, we have rocks. We have uneven ground. We have holes. We have roots. We have vines. We have vegetation to trip over. We have, from above, sticks falling out of the trees. Oh, boy, that's quite the list. That should pretty well do it, though. And if we need to reassess, we will. That's part of continual improvement, where if we find something wrong, we fix it, add it to the cycle. Time to head back.
Let's take a short field trip a few acres away. We have some good visual examples of vines which will not harm us in the same manner as poison ivy would, since they're not related. This assumes, of course, that we take standard precautions against contact with the sap. It's early spring and leaves have not come out yet. Without those leaves as a plant clue, it's important for our own personal health and safety to determine whether we could come into contact with poison ivy during the off-season. There are a number of vines which can be mistaken for poison ivy to the untrained eye even when the leaves are out. In my area, we're limited to just 4 major ones. First up is Thicket Creeper, which we see here. It is very closely related to Virginia creeper and both can be generically called woodbine. You'll notice the relatively smooth surface along with periodic tendrils. The tendrils which we see here are curly, without hairy splits, and without suction cup-like adhesive ends. The ends are commonly called holdfasts. This vine will grow very quickly, with the leaves competing with the host leaves, in this case a tree, eventually choking off sunlight to the tree leaves and killing the tree prematurely. It's hard to see here, but we can pick out a woody brown vine, and that's wild grape. I have a better example later on in the video. Just thought I'd stop here and record it. The grape also has curly tendrils, but lacks any other host attaching mechanism other than just winding around the host. The same tree-killing sunlight competition can be expected as for creeper. We also see a few reddish thorny canes mixed in here, going by various common names, and we're not too interested in those at the moment. This one is just an interesting circumstance, caught my eye, thought I'd record it. This viney mess is wound around a small, dead, scrub-type tree and will eventually pull it down. Whether poison ivy, thicket creeper, Virginia creeper, or grape, any or all can quickly get out of control if left unattended, and this can happen. It's our lucky day, and I stumbled upon a great example of Virginia creeper in the off-season. I assure you that, although the stalk or stem, whichever it technically is, appears to be hairy, this is not poison ivy. We will see the difference later on in the video. For now, notice the aerial roots are relatively thick and not as plentiful as they would be on the same diameter of poison ivy vine. Also notice the tendrils are different than for thicket creeper.
Success. We made it to where we need to be. Point of reference, we were that way. Now we are this way. Now I do have a few examples to show you. I know I inserted a video already for vine identifications. The ones we have, this is a nice grapevine here. This isn't going to hurt me at all as far as chemicals. This was cut a few years ago, but it is still very pliable. It's going to take a couple more years to dry out. Now, a couple things is we could leave it in place. If we don't care about this area, why put the work into it? However, if we wanted to gather these up, have them dry on the ground, then we can burn them eventually or do whatever we need to do with them. The trouble is then they become a trimming hazard, so it depends on what you're willing to put up with. As an example here of just how strong these are, in case you have not done this before, let's try this. See if we can get this to come down. Nope, that one's not moving. And that one's not, but we can cut it. Now, it's never a good idea to contact the sap if we don't need to. I happen to know it doesn't bother me. I'm going to get this thing out of here. Okay. That should work. Now, we have a danger from above. I don't know what I'm going to bring down with me. Hard head as a must. There. Done. Time to move on to the next one. Now come May, we'll never be able to get back there. So we have to do this now. There. Nope, nothing there. Good. So unfortunately with these, it's very difficult to find the origin. By now this thing has gone in a million different places. And the best we can do is just get these one by one. A couple more hazards. One, you see that pruner sticking in my pocket. I really shouldn't have that there. I'll have to pick a holder for that. Good catch on whoever saw that. And walking and talking at the same time. Some of us have a hard time with that.
My field microphone decided not to cooperate for a short stretch here. Based on what we've seen before, any guesses on what we have? For those that said Virginia Creeper, you are correct.
This sap also will not tend to hurt us, but everybody's a little different. Don't contact it unless you need to. For some people, it can cause a dermatitis reaction. It's not related to poison ivy, so nothing to be concerned about there. Wash it off in a day or so. It should be fine if it does bother you. All right, we have some poison ivy. Now, if we were to follow this all the way back to base, we would have a classic poison ivy situation. We have these aerial roots here. I don't know if I can zoom in on this enough or not. Yeah, it's kind of fuzzy. That's typical. Other than that, when it gets out down here to the ends, you might never know it's there. This particular vine I cut a couple of years ago. I'm going to let it dry out a while before I touch it. See that? That is all classic poison ivy. And just to make sure, I did spray some chemicals on the base or on the root there. That should also die as well. Okay, we made good progress today. I think I've cut everything I've seen. And I have got one back here that is a bugger that we need to take care of. I missed this poison ivy over the last several years. And camera person, if you care to pan up that tree, then we'll move on. All right, another set of hazards here. We have a low clearance. Try not to bonk our heads. Now, I happen to know all this stuff is good to touch. We're not in any danger here. Right there it is. Okay, good. So, I mentioned I had a special saw for poison ivy. Suppose you send your teenager out to get it, and it's unmarked, and they just use it for anything they want, and next thing you know, they got the urushiol oil over them, and they're itching. So, put it in something labeled, please. All right, time to reassess. Do we have any new hazards? Yes, I would say so. Even though the dust is not supposed to bother us if we inhale it, um, I don't want to take that chance. So pay attention to wind direction. It is absolutely dead calm back here. Nothing's going on. I'm going to cut this carefully. See every little piece I can because I don't want to have to come back here and do this a second time. Then we'll chemically spray it. Notice I have nitrile gloves on. These are disposable. You can get them every hardware I can think of, as well as some of the mega stores. I double up, so as I take one off, I should have a clean one underneath and maybe just has a smudge on it. And then I take that off and I should have nothing on me at that point. Been lucky so far, or else just good, I don't know. Let's get this going. So this is one example of a sap that if you see it run out, you absolutely don't want to touch it. The resveratrol is supposed to be throughout the plant, everywhere. And this is one vine you would absolutely never, ever burn. I don't care how dead it is. Do not do it. This tree is dead. It will hold up until we're done. This is just covered. And the odd thing is, I was never allergic to this until I was in my 40s. I must have had a sensitizing dose or something. Or maybe it was from my parasite bite. Oh, that was nice and dead. That's lucky. Okay, I think that might be all of it. I'm going to make sure this one here too. So let's say you run into some small plants on your property and you don't want to spray it because the oil stays around until the plant dries out. So what do? Well, I like the old saying that it's never dead until it's pulled. So those plastic grocery bags you get from the store, those are good for putting plants in. And just throw it in your trash. I can't be too hard on this because the bark is very loose. I don't want it to come crashing down on me. Okay, I think that's it for this one. I hope so. One more here. And some down here. Okay, I think actually those vines might be partially dead already. Lucky us. Okay, now I just need to spray it and we'll be all set. There's my quick take on vine day at our property. And we will catch you again for another video. And please tune in. Should be fun. Thanks.